Hello and welcome back. We're out again on another little jaunty walk. I'm in tier 4 with the coronavirus, so we're not allowed to go anywhere at the moment, so we can go out and exercise. So nice wintry day today. We've had a snowfall last night. So well, what I thought to talk about today is I just thought like a few ramblings, but how do you start them? So you've decided, you woke up after the new year and you want a new challenge in your life and you want to keep and breed Bokhara Trumpeters. How would you start? What's the best way to start? It's a lot easier to get into the breed now than it was in the past. Far more birds now being bred than has in the last 20, 30, maybe even 40 years. And now the breed is pretty much worldwide. It's been exported to quite a lot of places. A lot of continents have it. So it's a lot easier now to get birds than what it used to in the past. So if it was me and I was starting again, how would I go about it? How would I get a start in Bokharas? Well, I always find that it doesn't matter what you keep livestock, the best thing to do is just seek out the number one breeder, the number one guy. Find out who has the best. Make yourself known to him. Make yourself known that you want to get involved in the breed. Whatever it is, could be anything. Cats, dogs, pigeons, chickens, canaries, snakes, rabbits, anything. It's all the same. Oop, there's always one guy who stands out. Sometimes it might be 2 or 3 in each country, but usually if you look hard enough, you'll find the main guy. When you've found them, how do you approach them? How do you buy birds? Now, I get lots of people asking for birds from me. Probably get 1,000 people a year ask. 99% of them would never have a chance of buying birds from us. The total approach is I buy, I want, you sell, you give me. That doesn't work. It doesn't work with anybody in anything. The first thing you've got to do is find the guy, befriend him, learn about the breed, learn about the standard, learn about what you want to keep, so you've got a good idea when you buy them. Now, a lot of people, what they would do in the past, and probably still do now, I mean, you find a guy, say you want to keep oriental frills, you'd ask him for a pair, 2 pair, maybe even 3 pair. That gets you started, gets you in the breed, gets you breeding them. So you found your guy who you consider to have some good ones, you've befriended him, he's now corresponding with him regular, and you learn about his birds, you learn about his strengths, you learn about his weaknesses, how he breeds his birds. Because everybody has a slight twist on how they do it. Everybody's got their own way. Basically, works for them, that's what they'll do. Then what you do is, you get to friend them, you invest in 1 or 2 pairs. Then when you've got them and you've got breeding them, you've got to feel for them. Then you need to up the quality, up your game. You don't want to do it part-time, you want to be serious with it. Well, to be serious, you need a line breed. And the closer your line breed, the better. So if it was me, when I start out with anything, or was starting, and I could get an opportunity to do this, because this is the key, not a lot of breeders would allow this. I know this would never be, you could never do this in canaries. I mean, I found that out in my own thing, but what you would try and do, if possible, is buy 2 really good cockbirds, preferably brothers. Half brothers would do as well, but 2 brothers that came out of hopefully one of these better pairs. And then I would try and secure 4 hens. None of this is regarding colour or anything like that, just we forget about colour, just concentrating on quality. And I would like, if I could, that the 4 hens that I bought were sisters or half sisters. Mother and daughter would do with a push, but preferably if you could choose and it was icing on the cake time, you want 2 cockbirds that are 2 brothers and 4 hens that are related closely, i.e. sisters or half sisters. Then you would take them 4 hens and you'd mate them with them 2 cockbirds. And obviously you can't do it all at once, it's going to take you time. So what you would probably do is you leave 2 hens fresh, you take 3 or 4 rounds of eggs off 1 hen to the cockbirds, take them hens out, put the other 2 hens in, take another 3 or 4 rounds off them, split them up. Then probably for us that would be probably the end of the season. The following year alternate the hens, so the 2 hens you had on the one cock, the first cock, put them on the second cock and vice versa. So then basically what you would breed, or what you would have, hopefully your first year you'd have maybe 15 or 20 youngsters that were bred from the 2 cocks and the 4 hens. Then I would pick the better ones out, we'd mate them together, and obviously your second year you're alternating the hens, so they're going to breed you some half siblings and some cousins to the youngsters you've got, and the youngsters that you've got coming in the beginning. So by this time, slip you out here today. So by this time you've now probably got yourself maybe 20 or 30 birds that are bred from the original 6 birds. By now you would probably move away from the 6 originals. You would have a good look at your stud, look at the birds what you've got, then you would say where you were lacking, what areas you needed to improve on, and then you go back to the guy who you originally got the birds from. Now, all the time you keep in touch with this guy. He's your main source of information, he's your main source of, he's your go-to guy. So if you think you've got a problem with anything, things not working, anything, you go back to him, boom, boom, boom. You go back to him and you say, we'll use this as an example. My youngsters, I think I'm really happy with them, but I think they need more foot feathering. I'm lacking a bit of foot feathering, or I'm lacking a bit of size in the rows, or I'm lacking a bit of shell power. So ideally you would get a bird that complemented what you'd already bred and excelled in the excelled in the features you were lacking. This is what you need to do, and then move them in. So now you're on year 3. Same again, you breed them for another couple of years, and then another couple of years, and another couple of years. You don't run around the country, you don't run around the world buying birds from every Tom, Dick and Harry. And just because this guy's got good ones in Timbuktu, you don't run and buy birds from him. You stick with the source you found in the beginning, you stick with the reliability, you stick with the birds, you stick with the guy, and you breed on the same lines as him. Hopefully you get to the stage where you catch them up and your birds become equally as good a quality as his, and then you play another game which has seen many a good stud improve over the years. And what you would do there is you would do a bit of swapping, a bit of pairing, a bit of right there. Right. So you do a bit of pairing, a bit of split pairing. You start and use one of his birds, he ends one of your birds. You help each other. So you've got two studs to work at then, and this strengthens and has proven very, very successful in the past. Downfalls is you might be limited to the gene pool, you might be limited to the colours you're working with. The better quality birds might not be the colour you want, but the time to play with colours is later. Once you're established, once you're up and running, and you've got 15 or 20 pairs, and then you can start and do a bit of playing around with colouring and all that type of thing. So, how many people actually do that? How many people have actually done that in the past to get them where they are? And this works with all breeds of pigeons. This is not just Bokhara Trumpeters. This would work for anything. I followed exactly the same plan when I kept rabbits. I followed the same plan with the canaries, and we were very successful with rabbits, and we were very successful, and I still am very successful with canaries. I say in dogs, we keep dogs, as you know as well, and I say that in the dogs, people, they run from one breeder to the next breeder to the next breeder, constantly outcrossing. That doesn't work. It doesn't get anybody anywhere. It breeds a lot of birds because obviously the vigour goes through the roof, continuously outcrossing. I mean, your birds will get stronger, the vitality be good, and there's a lot that does that, but the success they have is usually very, very limited. You will find, if you look at any of the top breeders, the gene pool they work with will be very, very small, a very, very narrow gene pool, probably 2 or 3 different families made up of maybe 3 or 4 different birds. I mean, I've seen my loft, every single bird in my loft at this present moment in time, and probably could have said this 10 years ago, and probably say it in another 10 years. They're all traced back to the Queen of Spades, and the Queen of Spades was a hen that was a big player in my loft, and in others and all. I have a saying that all roads lead to the Queen of Spades. With blacks, you'll tend to find, if you dig around long enough, you'll find that a lot of the people throughout the world who had birds out the Queen of Spades have had quite good success in the shows and in breeding as well, and mine was no different. Things that many people don't take much notice of when they're breeding, and this is a thing that you've got to be very, very aware, because you will eventually hit the wall. We all have. I've hit the wall twice in the last 40 years, and no doubt I'll hit the wall again. I'm preparing for a hit wall now. I've been preparing 3 years. I started a new project, a new outcross, creating my own different new line of blood, which is different to what I've got. So when the time comes when I hit the wall, I've got an outcross. I don't have to go looking for an outcross. I've got one. I can sort it out myself without bringing any birds in from anywhere else. Can be done. What does hit the wall mean? To people that don't know it, when you inbreed for long enough, you will get inbred sickness, and you will get birds that become very, very low fertility, low vigour, cockbirds that rarely fill eggs, hens that lay rarely, and usually you'll find birds also that have weak immune system, so they have problems fighting off viruses and diseases and all them types of things. You probably also will get reoccurring problems where, just trying to think what else, I think that's more or less covered all of that, actually, to be honest. Yeah, I think that's about it. Anyway, right, I think that's about it. I've rambled on long enough, and no doubt if you like these type of videos, talking, it's alright looking at pictures, but it's always nice to have a bit of in-depth knowledge to go along with it. Right, so all for now. Well, take care, and see you later. Bye.